Mindfulness practice is really a practice of honesty. In some ways, if you can get it down to its simplest essence, not necessarily its easiest, but its simplest, it's this practice of being honest with ourselves in the moment of what is here right now. And I remember one of the first times I truly got this. I was actually on my first long retreat. It was about 3 months at Insight Meditation Society in Massachusetts, a place of really beautiful and deep practice. And I had been moving between sitting meditation and walking meditation. And at this moment, I was standing in the line for the dining hall. And let me say, I am someone who has a tremendous amount of conditioning and habit around trying to get things right. I don't know if you relate to that, but that feeling of like, how do I do it right? How can I make sure I get it right? And meditation can become just an other area where all of those same habits come up. Like, how do I get it right? I want to make sure I'm doing it right. Like, oh no, I'm not getting it right. And beating myself up about it. This kind of sense of perfectionism. And I was standing in line for the dining hall trying to figure out, okay, like, what do I do here? And then it dawned on me, all I need to do is acknowledge what is. Oh, right now I can feel my feet on the ground. Right now I can feel anxiety about getting it right or wrong. I can feel the thoughts swirling about that. Can feel the heat in my chest. Oh, I can smell the smell of the food that we're about to eat. All of that. And actually, it dawning how simple this practice is. To simply acknowledge what is in the moment at any moment. Now, the hard part about this, of course, is the fact that honesty can be really challenging sometimes. I'm sure you all have had this experience in life, right? Probably already today. Where in interacting with people, somebody asks something, how do you be fully honest about what is true for you? How do you be honest with yourself? We can see so much in our lives, all the ways that we find to check out, the ways that we find to numb ourselves from being present with what's real for us in any moment. And this is because honesty is really hard. Can be really hard. And sometimes our nervous systems have a lot of conditioning to get away from the moment, right? Whether it's from trauma, habit, whatever you want to call it, whatever your experience is that to actually stay present and to be honest with ourselves about what's happening right here, right now, takes some deliberate cultivation. It takes an ability to stay present in our bodies, to actually feel the sensation. Sometimes it's a tremendous amount of sensation. In fact, if you're struggling with a feeling, with some thoughts, with obsession or anxiety or sadness or grief, likely what you'll find is if you drop into your body, what you're feeling is an incredible amount of sensation. And that can be hard to feel. So in this practice, again, we cultivate the ability to be present, to feel how much sensation is there, and to cultivate our confidence in our capacity to be with it. That actually there is space to be with it all. Sometimes people think like, oh, in meditation, it's great because I'm just going to completely calm down and I'll have less of these intense feelings and reactions. And sometimes, to a degree, that's true, right? We're learning to work with our mind and to not have the same reactivity that we might have had. And at the same time, we keep going with life. And I talked about this last week, thinking early in my practice, I'll do it, I'll get it handled, I'll be set for life. And the truth is, as long as we are here alive with life flowing through us, we are going to feel all of life, unless we're numbing ourselves to it. So we're going to feel the anxiety, we're going to feel the intensity, the excitement, the love, the hate, all of it. This is part of being human. And can we learn to stay conscious there? Can we learn to be honest there? And in this honesty, through this willingness to be honest about what's here right now, to turn and look at it, to be willing to feel it, to develop our capacity to stay present even when it's very intense. This is how we learn to be with things, not through shutting it down, not trying to make it more calm, not trying to have less feelings, though we all try to do that sometimes, but ultimately through learning to be honest with it, to open to it, and to stay present with however intense it is. And, we have a lot of intensity to be with these days. It feels like increasingly so. So more than anything, cultivating this ability to stay present, to ground, to open and be honest about what is here, right now. You can even take a moment wherever you're at and just say, what's happening right now? How am I feeling right now? If I'm totally honest with myself, if I take a breath and drop in, what's here? What do you notice? What do you notice about what's around you? And what do you notice about what's within you? Maybe suddenly you're aware of a sensation in your belly that you hadn't been. Or suddenly you realize, you're like, wow, I feel really anxious this morning. I didn't even realize that was driving me. And can you take a moment and be with that? So it's not running you from behind unconsciously, but actually you're in connection with it. And from there you can have more choice. Maybe you notice that you've been holding your shoulders tight or gripping your jaw. Acknowledging that, noticing that. It's this simple act of kind honesty with ourselves. Kind honesty really being the only kind. Because even if it's hard, even it's really hard to see, it's actually kind to be able to name it so we can start working with it.